The mark that stopped the game. How an 8-year-old law change sparked fresh confusion in Paris in the 66th minute of France's Six Nations opener against Ireland at the Stade de France. A moment that barely registered on the scoreboard ignited a far bigger conversation about the laws of rugby. It was not a try, a turnover, or a refereeing error in the traditional sense. Instead, it was a perfectly legal act that many watching, players, pundits, and fans alike, were convinced was wrong. When Thomas Ramos raised his arm and called a mark after fumbling a high ball near his own try line, confusion rippled through the stadium and across social media. England great Austin Healey voiced what thousands were thinking in real time: you can't mark a juggle. Except, as it turns out, you can. The incident exposed a subtle but significant law definition change that has existed largely under the radar for almost 8 years. Introduced as part of World Rugby's sweeping law simplification project in 2018, the revised wording around claiming a mark has quietly reshaped how the game is officiated and how it is understood at a moment that felt wrong. But was the sequence itself was innocuous enough. From a line-out deep inside French territory, Ireland worked the ball back to fly-half Sam Prendergast, who opted for an attacking high kick into the Paris night. Center Gary Ringrose chased hard, applying immediate pressure on Ramos just a few meters from the French try line. Under that pressure, Ramos failed to take the ball cleanly. He spilled it backwards, juggled it, then secured possession before the ball touched the ground. As he completed the catch, he raised his arm and shouted mark. Referee Carl Dixon immediately halted play and awarded France a free kick. Ramos then sent the ball into touch, gifting Ireland a line-out just outside the French 22. Play moved on, but the debate did not deter many viewers, including seasoned analysts. The decision appeared incorrect. The long-held understanding was clear. To claim a mark, a player had to take a clean catch directly from an opponent's kick. A juggle, surely, invalidated that. That understanding, however, belongs to an older version of the law. The 2018 Law Simplification Project in January 2018, World Rugby unveiled a revised lawbook following a 2-year review process. The stated aim was ambitious: to simplify the laws of the game, making them easier to understand for players, coaches, referees, and fans. According to World Rugby, the explanations of laws were reduced by as much as 42%. Then Chairman Bill Beaumont framed the changes as essential for the sport's global growth. As our game continues to grow around the world, we continue to strive to make the sport as accessible to all, Beaumont said at the time. The laws can be difficult to understand for new participants and fans, and the new law book goes a long way towards simplifying it and making it easier to understand. While the headline changes, such as breakdown interpretations and tackle height directives, received plenty of attention, other alterations were more subtle. These included tweaks to definitions rather than outcomes. One of the most consequential of these concerned the mark. What the law used to say prior to 2018, the wording around claiming a mark was explicit. The 2017 lawbook defined it as follows: to make a mark, a player must be on or behind that player's 22-meter line. The player must make a clean catch direct from an opponent's kick and at the same time shout mark. The phrase clean catch was crucial. Any bobble, juggle, or loss of control, even if momentary, invalidated the claim. It was this definition that informed Healey's instinctive reaction and that of many others watching. What the law says now, the revised lawbook, however, removed the requirement for a clean catch. Instead, the emphasis shifted to whether the ball was caught before touching the ground or another player. The updated definition describes a mark as a method of suspending play and winning a free kick by directly catching an opponent's kick in the catcher's own 22 or in goal and shouting mark. Law 17.1 then clarifies the conditions required. To claim a mark, a player must have at least 1 foot on or behind their own 22-meter line when catching the ball or when landing, having caught it in the air. Catch a ball that has reached the plane of the 22-meter line directly from an opponent's kick before it touches the ground or another player. Simultaneously call mark. Crucially, nowhere does it state that the catch must be clean on first contact. As long as control is established before the ball hits the ground or another player, the mark is valid. the law goes even further. A mark may still be claimed if the ball strikes the goalpost or crossbar before being caught. It may not, however, be claimed from a kickoff or restart. Why these criteria? Ramos' action was entirely lawful. Why the confusion persists? The controversy surrounding the incident is less about refereeing competence and more about collective memory. Rugby culture tends to lag behind law changes, particularly those that alter definitions rather than visible mechanics. Players, pundits, and fans internalize laws over decades. When a familiar phrase like clean catch disappears quietly from the rulebook, it can take years, sometimes a high-profile incident, for the new reality to register. That this change has gone largely unnoticed for 8 years speaks volumes. Marks are relatively rare in elite rugby, and situations involving juggles inside the 22 are rarer still. When one finally occurred on such a prominent stage, the disconnect was laid bare. Tactical implications, a subtle shift beyond the debate itself. The updated interpretation of the mark has subtle tactical implications. Prendergast kick was a throwback tactic. A high, contestable bomb into the 22 designed to create chaos rather than guaranteed territory. With escorting defenders removed from the game and aerial contests more open, such kicks carry renewed appeal. However, the modern law around marks provides the defending team with a safety valve. Even under pressure, a fullback who can regather a juggle retains the option to stop the game and relieve pressure with a free dash kick. In this instance, Ireland still profited territorially. Ramos' touch finder resulted in a line-out just outside the French 22, a significant gain from where Prendergast kicked the ball between halfway and France's 10-meter line. That gain, however, was squandered moments later when Ireland failed to secure a clean ball from the line-out, knocking on and ending the attack. The law debate overshadowed a more familiar Irish frustration. Promising field position wasted, a law likely to matter more going forward. As teams continue to adapt to law changes around kick chases, escorts, and aerial contests, the mark may come back into sharper focus. Attackers may increasingly view high kicks into the 22 as calculated risks, particularly if pressure can force mistakes or rush decisions. Defenders, meanwhile, can take comfort in knowing that perfection is no longer required. A juggle under pressure does not automatically spell danger, provided control is regained in time. Whether this encourages more attacking kicks or simply reinforces conservative backfield play remains to be seen. What is certain is that the law, as written, gives referees little discretion. Ramos met the criteria, and Dixon applied the law correctly to a familiar rugby lesson ultimately. The incident serves as a reminder of a recurring truth in rugby. Laws evolve faster than understanding. The game's custodians may simplify wording and streamline definitions, but habits of thought are harder to change. For Ireland, the moment was a footnote in a match defined by larger issues: defensive fragility, missed tackles, and a youthful fly-half learning harsh lessons on the biggest stage. For France, it was merely another example of composure under pressure in a performance that underlined their status as Six Nations frontrunners. For everyone else, it was a rare window into how quietly the laws of the game can change, and how jarring it can be when reality collides with memory. The mark, once thought to demand perfection, no longer does. And 8 years on, rugby is still catching up.